The sex-positive movement is fascinating because of the tension between the degreed and the self-taught over a blurry line. Sex positivity rewards experience, such as the sex blogger who writes about her time as a sex worker, stripper, porn maker, actor, etc., or at least about her sexual experience in an effort to liberate herself from society's ideals about women and gender and, by extension, trying to free the reader's mind and body too. This is from a book that I'm reading right now called Feminism for Real, Deconstructing the Academic Industrial Complex of Feminism by Jessica Yee. I highly suggest anybody get it. She's also an indigenous feminist. I was reminded of this passage because I just came across a video by Counterpoint where he talks about, how unsatisfying YouTube feminism is to him, and how it's really just this battle between radical feminists and the MRAs, who all seem to be very angsty and angry and just want to spat with each other. But then later in his comment section, you come across this comment from him where he's responding to a guy who leaves a comment, "Where's your beef with slut walk? Do you think it's slacktivism? Sex negativity is the biggest reason for American society's practice of poor sexual health." And, it is. There's this war on comprehensive sex education. And, of course, with not understanding one's own sexuality in depth comes STIs and unwanted pregnancy, and with that unwanted pregnancy comes the, entryway into the conflict of whether or not a woman's going to be able to actually get a safe abortion, affordable, available abortion. And, even if you see nothing else that is redeeming about sex positivity, there is that little bit there. It does lead into something that is very serious. And so here's Counterpoint's response to this. I reject a clear-cut dichotomy between sex positivity and sex negativity. There are different sorts of ways you can fashion yourself as sex positive, and I disagree with the low-cut shirt and high heels fun feminism perspective, which I think is just a Trojan horse that disguises the sexual status quo with supposedly feminist-friendly ornaments. So here's this guy in his video talking about how feminism on YouTube seems to be just full of angst and anger and people who have been, these feminists who have been sexually abused or raped or, been the victims of sexual violence in their darn anger, and how that's just all very distasteful to him. But then he turns around and calls sex positivity fun feminism. So I guess in this gentleman's mind, feminists are either way too angry or not angry enough. Wow, just can't seem to get that male approval, can we? And I find it hilarious how this dude has seen fit to take it upon himself to reject our form of feminism and characterize it as fun feminism, just like Iron Myth Purr has. I reject your rejection that there is a false dichotomy between sex positivity and sex negativity, because when I come on YouTube and share, what is my personal lived experience within the sex industry that so many radical feminists and anti-porn feminists like to spread disinformation about so much, and disagree with their Swedish model and disagree with their characterizations of us as all, psychologically damaged by our sex work, whether we want to admit it or not, or that we all must have been molested as children and that's why we became sex workers, even though they know fuck all about us. And I disagree with them, and I share my personal life experiences and the personal experiences. I bring interviews from sex workers that I work with to YouTube, and they turn around and call me a whore and tell me that I'm kowtowing to male dick and male sense of entitlement. And even though I've never been called a cum dumpster in my life by men, they turn around and tell me that men just see me as a cum dumpster and use that as an excuse to actually call me a cum dumpster and make sock accounts called cum dumpster div to harass me and impersonate me. I call that sex negativity. So you may reject this, what you call false dichotomy, but that might be because it doesn't affect you, mister. When Rush Limbaugh goes on his little radio show because Sandra Fluke wants the right to be a woman speaking about a woman's reproductive rights, and he calls her a slut, the same thing that many of the feminists you approve of call me because I don't support their opinions. What's the difference between him and them? When he calls her a prostitute and everyone is outraged. Why? Because a prostitute, the whore is a stigma that is used against female sexuality to keep female sexuality in control and to keep women controllable. But the prostitute is the example. The prostitute is the person they make an example of, so that women will fear that comparison until whatever line they're being given. I don't expect you to understand these things, and I don't expect you to care. I just find it very arrogant that you as a dude feel that you are in a position to reject my brand of feminism. That to me sounds like some sort of male entitlement. But what do I know? I'm just a fun feminist with my low-cut shirt. And and as far as this low-cut shirt, high heels, what have you, a lot of the point of sex positivity is not that low-cut shirts and wearing high heels is empowering, but that it doesn't have to be disempowering. You see, a lot of the messages from, I guess, people you approve of, sent to women nowadays, say that, well, if a woman wears low-cut shirts and high heels, she's obviously kowtowing to male sexuality, and she's just trying to be an appeaser of the patriarchy and what have you. And then on the other side of it, you have messages from patriarchy or from, pornography saying that if you don't have low-cut shirts and you don't wear high heels, that you're not sexy. And a lot of the point of sex-positive feminism is about saying, you know what, it's not up to them. It's up to you. And you know what? If it makes you feel sexy, even if you just want to wear it in your own bedroom for your partner, whether that partner be male or female, then don't be ashamed of it. Don't let these radical feminists or these anti-porn feminists make you feel like you're simply kowtowing to male sexuality by wearing those things and sexually shame you for feeling good in your own skin. You see, and this feeling good in your own skin is something that is played down quite a bit by the feminism you, in your male opinion, approve of. And while feminism is about a lot of things, It should be about feeling good in your own skin, about liking who you are, and about enjoying your sexuality for yourself. I know a lot of people like to, smirk and dismiss her, but that's a big part of what Betty Dodson is all about. Love your body. And one last thing I want to throw in there about this, your personal rejection of this false dichotomy of sex positivity and sex negativity, blah, 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 blah. You know what? When those feminists that you at least have enough respect for or fear of to acknowledge as real feminists start unloading their sex negative, abusive shit on us, calling us cum dumpsters, calling us whores, calling us sluts, calling us, people that kowtow to your dick. It's real easy to denounce that dichotomy when you stick your head in the sand and ignore that abuse when it's going on. You're not exactly getting in line to stand up to those people that you at least acknowledge as real feminists and say, you know what, now that's not very good feminism there, is it? No, you just turn your back and reject the false dichotomy, don't you? Why? Could it be that maybe the fun feminists are perceived as being more fun, so they have less bite, they're less scary? So you'll go ahead and keep those feminists that unload that abuse and just go ahead and throw us under the bus. That's real brave of you there, cowboy.